Hello there and welcome. So I'm Electric Wolf, and a little while ago I decided to make a new Android game. This Android game is going to be based around trains. It's going to be shunting, so it's going to be a puzzle all about shunting wagons in wagon yards or marshalling yards, whatever you prefer to say. So what I'm hoping to show you here is kind of like an introduction to the project, how far I've got. As you can see, I've got something working already, and then hopefully I can show you like my progress throughout the development of this. So first of all, let's go straight in and look what I've got working so far. So this is all built in Unity3d, or I'm writing C# in this case, and as you can see here straight away I've got an 08 shunter. It's positioned on the track, and it's positioned on the track so the wheels match the rails. So you can imagine that's just not easy, but it is doable. And I've got a slider here which allows me to govern the speed of it. She twitches, so that's things I need to fix. But generally speaking, I'm quite happy with that. So she'll slowly go into a halt, but I'll stop her here. So I've created artwork for this loco. I've created artwork for this wagon you're about to see, and I created the artwork for the sleepers, the track. The stuff you see in the background, so these buildings, that's all done by one of my assets in Unity, which is Building Builder, and it's a terribly simple background object filler. You plonk a building down and you can just create it, and it just randomly forms the shape, and then you can decide if you like it or not. And it's just good for background objects. The next thing is the fence you see here. This is my fence builder, and again it's something I've developed over time. It's on the asset store, pre-available, but it just allows me to like populate these scenes really quickly without spending a lot of time and effort, and that's exactly what the assets are for. And I'll show you more in depth when we start mapping out some of the screens. But let's go back to the diesel here. Let's power her up and move her forward. And anybody who doesn't know these kind of shunters, they are meant to be slow. They're not high speed. They do like 20 miles an hour, and they're perfect for shunting. So here, as you can see coming on screen, ignoring my meter cubes, I've got a wagon. This is a box van. It's actually a van wide if you want to get really technical, but it's a box van as most people will know it. Is what I've made it do is automatically connect when we get close to it. So plop, we're connected, and if I go the other way it'll drag it back with me. If I put it at full speed it'll come through. So this is kind of in place and it's working really well. My next stage is to add points, and mechanisms to disconnect, and puzzles, and all the rest that goes with it. So on the subject of puzzles, I'm going to swap to another view and show you how the puzzles are going to play out in this shunting game of mine. Okay then, so before I go in depth and show you a basic puzzle that I've got planned, I just want to let you know that I've been wanting to do a train related game for a while, and I've stopped and started a few different projects and they never really kicked off. It's also good to know I own a model railway. I do 00 model railway, if anybody knows all about that. This is my layout. This is in my spare bedroom. It's what I call a donut, so I can control in the middle. I've got the trains running around the outside, so I can build a good decent train game, I hope, because I've got good train knowledge, and I think that would be a good way to bring it in. And a lot of people who like trains will have the same knowledge, so it's good that my game can respect that. So this is my current layout. If I just go back a little bit, this is the cleaned up version, so this is literally just a layout without the mess. Things have changed on this layout, as they always do, but generally speaking, I've got reference material. I can physically lay track down and test ideas as well as doing it in the game, so it's going to give me a few options. I also volunteer at Heritage Railway, so I have connections and I have access to lots of, well, I can take images to do the models that I'm working on. So let's go back and have a look at this very simple puzzle. So typically with these shunting ideas is a lot of it's just going to come down to moving stock around, and is what we've got here is the 08 shunter with 2 box fans and a con flat, a low loader if you like. So the idea is you'll probably want to get these 2 box fans out of here and leave this low loader behind. But obviously in order to do that you're going to have to do several operations. So the first operation is going to be moving the 08, the shunter, the diesel, and the box fan and the small wagon out, put her into the other line where you can drop off your final small con flat, take the box fan back with you because you're still going to need that, go and pick up the second box fan, take her down and then shunt her back, pick up the con flat, take her back, push her into the sidings, and then finally you can detach the con flat, leave her out the way, and you've got your shunter with your 2 box fans that you can go off and merrily down your path. So that's incredibly simple shunting problem, and that's what the game's going to represent. But as you can imagine, these can get incredibly complex when you're dealing with different wagon types, lots of different layouts, lots of different sidings and through roads and things. So it's got plenty of scope, and I reckon it's doable and it'll be fun, at least for railway enthusiasts. Right, so this video is only meant to be like an overview and an introduction, so I'm not going to go too in depth on this, but I do want to show you a little bit in the project and some of the nice things I've already done. So the project's broken down into 3 separate areas. This area is just for the assets. This is just for the objects themselves. So each one of these is going to be like a prefab, as you'd imagine for Unity, and they're all self-contained. It's just a nice way of structuring things, and it's also, if this is a completed game, I can reuse these assets for other games, and that's what I want to do. That's my long-term plan. The next thing is how I'm building these scenes up. So I want to show you. I'll just clear the landscape and go top mode. So in order to have any kind of railway game, is you're going to have a really good track system, and I'm currently building this up. So I've got a system where I can add a track, which is a Bezier curve, and I can shape that curve to however I like and then build, and it builds me a track with sleepers. There's a few variations on how far apart the sleepers are and how far the track is, but I'm using very standard tracks, so everything's preset to that. But more importantly, I can add new sections that kind of go off in that direction to start with, but then I can modify them and shape them however I need to make it the shape that I want. And if we just build that again, yeah, that's not a nice curve, but it is it does follow the contours of what we just defined. So got to be careful how I define these layouts, because the trains still need to operate on those. There we go, that's a bit better. Just put down, and it is just a basic sleeper and track, and our little shunter will settle on that when she runs, and it'll all be perfect. So this part of it is like a track builder, and that's going to be separate again. So the next stage is when it all starts to come together, and yeah, so this is that scene you saw us playing with earlier. So it's got the track, it's got the wagons, it's got these buildings that I can just randomize as much as I like, and then pop into top mode and have a look at a fence. Can't see the fence because it's narrow. These are just fences I can just drag around as much as I like. It's just easy to control that way. And we've got things like the gates. You can move around as much as you like as well. Again, this is the fence builder, which is, I'll put a link below for that, and obviously the building builder. Building builder is terribly basic, but the fence builder is quite. It's got a lot of depth to it, and you can change the type of walls you've got and just add new ones as you need. So you can box yourself in if you really wanted to. I find it works pretty well, and for this kind of thing, it's just, I don't have to worry about it, but I can have nice fences within the game. So that's basically how it's going to operate. Let's just break those apart. As you can see, there's a lot to do. Every area I've shown you needs work, as always, but the most interesting point I think next is I need to have points on my track builder, switches if you like, because without that, without the ability to go from one siding to another siding, the game's just not going to work. And if you're doing anything with trains, you're going to always have sidings. So that's possibly going to be my next big aspect, but I also want to start modeling new wagons as well, because I need the extra rolling stock, and that will take time. So there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully you'll follow me for the rest of this, and let's see how it pans out. So thanks for watching.